from the process due to their attendance from last year, that they were unaware that that would affect this year's election. So basically, this would just put the attendance requirements forward and make them apply next year, and then everyone on the board would be eligible to participate this year. So basically, yes vote allows everyone to participate, and a no vote will eliminate approximately 2/3 of the board from participating.
Okay.
So the opposite end of that argument would be, I would say, is that having been chairperson for 6 years, Martin, I don't know how many times it's been told attendance is important. I don't know how many times it's been told X, Y, and Z. Cannot tell you how many phone calls we used to make to get a quorum. If you didn't know it last year and you didn't know it the year before, and I believe we already voted on this, and it's on the question. That's all I have to say.
Well,
Take it to a vote.
these
Okay.
attendance requirements
You,
are stricter than
no.
the bylaw.
Is there anyone else? Tom?
I voted in favor of this because I like the new changes, but I thought that they were going to be for next year, not really for this year, because if you do change something, everybody that's, like, all of a sudden the whole year has passed and now you're changing the rules. So,
The rules have never changed.
no, they made them stricter. There's a little stricter. So, I mean, if we never did this, a lot of people would have still been able to run. So, putting this now is like you're making the rule like, and you're not worried, like people are not aware of the rule change after the whole year passed. I like the changes, but I just think it's not fair to change it at the end. It's like you're changing the rules at the end for the whole beginning of the year. That's what I want to say.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Hi. So my question then is, are we going by the attendance guidelines before this new, like there has to be some guidelines we're following, right? Like it can't be, you missed, and I'm a culprit, I've had a very busy year, so I haven't been here at a number of times. So if someone missed 60% of the meetings, to me they shouldn't really be eligible, right? So I think, I agree maybe that maybe we're not gonna put this in, but there has to be a standard that we're still gonna follow.
We were about to nominate you for chair.
I would have to respectfully decline.
Well,
This is just not about attendance, it's also about if you're on a committee too,
okay.
or something.
I would just say this, and the reason we're putting it forward, I don't know if there is a lot of other members that would or have found out that they were on that list, weren't on the list, that are interested in running. But if this does go through, if those are any interested members there, they can certainly put their hand in to run for an office. I will say that Robert has been dependable in the time he was second vice, and that he has made those meetings. So
He hasn't made the meetings as second vice?
Hmm?
Oh, he has.
He's attended every executive board. So again, what happened is when this went into effect, he was told that he couldn't run. So again, I don't know how many other members feel the same as he does, but at the same time, I know that as a board, it would be up to us to decide if, well, we want to vote yes or no. So on the question, I would ask all those in favor. Okay.
Susan, you have the attendance sheet?
No, that's just the second sheet.
Mr. Chair, can I make one more comment before we vote?
I'll let you have your plea. Yep.
Sure, okay. Also, certain people were having an issue, like say in 2016, and they believed that they had an excused absence, and they believed that they were okay due to, illness or family situation, and they were told that they were okay. Now, if this was to take effect for this year, they'd be punished because of their attendance last year.
It's not in.
I gotta be the devil's advocate here. After that comment, can we take a poll? Is this affecting anyone else, or is anyone gonna nominate someone else that wasn't on the eligibility list?
Yes, Ms. DeVille is nominated.
Did you hear?
No, she's been nominated.
No. We're asking for a poll right here. Is this gonna affect anyone else, or is anyone gonna nominate someone that's not on the eligibility list? Please raise your hand so you know it affects more than 2 people.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, so, go down the list on the question.
Ms. Akampora.
Yes.
Mr. Accomando.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the motion, I apologize. Ms. Accomando,
No.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, this is on this particular motion, I apologize. Mr. Barbarelli.
Yes.
Mr. Beater.
No.
Mr. Boyko.
No.
Mr. Cantillo.
No.
Colonel Chin, I don't see. Mr. Chirico.
No.
Miss Council.
Yes.
Mr. Franklin.
Yes.
Miss Ganel Ilowich. Ilowich. No. Miss Hunt.
No.
Miss LaFury.
No.
Miss Locke.
No.
Miss Musano.
No.
Christos.
Yes.
Dr. Ponder.
Abstain.
Mr. Popovic.
No.
Mr. Martin. Chairman Martin.
Yes.
Prince.
Yes.
Bishop Rosario. Mr. Sala.
Yes.
Miss Samaj Williams. Mr. Sullivan. Did I miss anybody? Oh, sorry, Ken, I'm sorry. Kevin.
No.
Did I miss anybody else? Okay.
Okay. Okay, the result is 8 yes, 13 no, 2 abstentions. So the motion is defeated. Next up will be the report from the Nominations and the Elections Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Dr. Alvin Ponder. I want to thank my fellow board members for allowing me to chair this committee. It's an honor. My fellow members of my committee are Ms. Lauren Council on the end and Mr. Terrence Franklin, the handsome gentleman in the middle. As you probably know, our terms run from July to June. So the current executive committee term will end in 1 month. At our June meeting, we will have an election to take those officers who will take over the reins. Mr. Chair, the Nominations and Elections Committee has put forth the following names for candidates for office. As soon as I find it. They are, for chairperson, Martin Prince, incumbent, Peter Sullivan, Bob Beater. For first vice president, first vice chairperson, John Morano, incumbent, Peter Sullivan, Thomas Accomando. Second vice chairperson, Irene Guanil Ilukowicz. Secretary, Peter Cantillo, incumbent, Alvin Ponder. Treasurer, Marjorie Velasquez, incumbent, Alvin Ponder, Raquel Baez. I'd like to ask if there are any other nominations from the floor. for the chairperson? I'm going to ask 2 more times and then I'll proceed. Are there any nominations from the floor? That's enough. For first vice chairperson, are there any nominations from the floor? Are there any nominations from the floor for first vice chairperson? For second vice chairperson?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I received a nomination for that position from Mr. Mazursky and a second from Mr. Salamini. And there's nothing in the nominations and elections procedures which prevents me from running at this time.
What?
That's right. I have attended 2/3 of my full board meetings at least, and half of my respective committee meetings.
Okay. Okay, that is not a nomination, so let's hold that, and let me finish with the nominations from the floor.
Okay, and then you're going to close second vice chair meanwhile?
Okay, nominations will not close, really, they're sort of closed when there are no more nominations. Let's deal with that at the end. Let me finish this. Again, are there any nominations from the floor for second vice chairperson?
So mine hasn't been accepted for this position?
Mr. Barbarelli,
Yes.
at this point you are not eligible, but let me answer that question
Okay, later time.
when we finish this.
Meanwhile, I'd like to nominate Mary Jane Massano for that position.
All right, there's a nomination for Mary Jane Massano, and let me see, she is there.
I'm here, but I don't want to accept that.
Ms. Massano respectfully declines.
Yes, very respectfully.
Thank you.
Point of information, Mr. Barbarelli had said he did meet the qualifications. Do we know that to be true or false?
First, let's get through this.
Let him go.
Let him go through the list, and then we're gonna address.
Well, it could affect the nominations.
No, nominations will not, no, no.
Close second now.
No,
It's not gonna be closed.
no, nominations will not close. I'm not gonna close them, and,
Go down to the next position.
next position. And we'll come back to the second vice chairperson. Secretary, Peter Cantillo, incumbent. Oh, well, we did that already, right? Are there any other nominations from the floor for secretary? Treasurer. For treasurer, we have Marjorie Velasquez, incumbent, Alvin Ponder, and Raquel Baez. Are there any nominations from the floor? Yes, Peter.
At this point, I would ask, have all candidates been seconded? And I did withdraw my position for the first vice chair. So,
Okay, Peter, but I'm still trying to get nominations from the floor for treasurer. Hold on for a minute.
Doc, I nominated you already, so.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch.
Alvin Ponder for treasurer.
Lord have mercy. Hold it, just a second, hold it. Work with me. Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Okay, that part is fine. Now, first, easiest, Peter, yes. You formally withdraw your nomination for first vice chair.
right, so I don't need to be seconded.
Thank you. Mr. Barbarelli, next.
Okay, thank you very much. I received a nomination from Mr. Mazursky for second vice chair, and it was seconded by Mr. Salambini. According to the nominations and elections procedures, all candidates must have attended at least 2/3 of all full board meetings in the previous year, which I have, and have attended at least half of their respective committee meetings during the prior 12 months as well, which I have done. I'm a member of the executive committee, and I've attended all meetings within the last 12 months, so I am eligible under these procedures.
All right. This is the response from the committee. Mr. Barbarelli attended our last meeting. There's also the executive board meeting. Our committee is basically administrative. We really, even though in the nominations and guidelines, it says that the committee determines the eligibility. Our determination is delimited by the qualifications that have been passed by the full board. The issue regarding the committees is an issue that I'm very familiar with all the way back from last year with the bylaws. And it was very clear to our committee that the executive committee did not represent a standing committee, and therefore you were ineligible. Yes, Mr. Lynch.
Rob, you said you were nominated by who and who?
Julian Gursky and Tony Salamini.
Okay. Only on the second with Tony, Tony nominated the whole board, and unfortunately he's not here to clarify himself. Yeah, I got 35 emails from him nominating, agreeing with everybody, but never formally nominated as far as I'm aware of.
There was a second email, and it was very clear, he did nominate.
Correct.
He seconded, and he said,
Perfect.
it is a nomination, and
Okay,
whatever Bob was saying is true. He was
That's-
nominated.
perfect, that's all, just for clarification.
The nominations and elections procedures don't make any mention of standing committees. It talks about generally about respective committees. Actually, the co-author, Mr. Beater, specified at the April 3rd executive board meeting that all committees would count under this provision.
I never said
Yeah.
that, please don't.
Yes, I do. I actually have a recording. I have a recording. I could play it if you'd like. I have a recording in which...
I never said the executive committee counts as a standing
Yes, you
committee.
did. No, I didn't say it as a
I never said that.
respective committee.
Order. Let me finish my section, Mr. Chair. Let me finish my section and then hand it over to you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, let me close it out. First of all, Mr. Lynch, thank you so much for the nomination, but I respectfully decline.
That's secretary, right?
That's for treasurer.
Well, you nominated for both.
Your treasurer and
Oh, are there any more nominations for treasurer?
He went for that.
Which one are you declining? You're down for two positions.
For treasurer, I'm thinking about the secretary.
In that case, since you respectfully declined mine, I'd like to nominate Bob Beater
Okay?
for treasurer.
Yes, sir.
I'll second the nomination.
Bob, do you accept?
Sure.
Now, only thing is left, we have a second for Bob Beater?
Yes.
That was Joe Boyko?
And you've been seconded for secretary, correct?
Who seconded me?
I thought Tom did.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Are you accepting?
I don't know, man.
That's an honest answer.
I don't know. Let me hand it over to the chair, thank you.
You
No.
can withdraw at any time after this.
Right. So it's...
I'm giving this over to the chair.
All right. In respect to what you're asking, Bob, okay, it's been voted on now. It was put to the floor, and it was defeated. Okay? We already went through, we're trying to reinterpret what was a standing committee, what wasn't. So, again, we put this on the floor, we put it to the membership, and this is what the membership came back with. So, at this point, I think that issue is now moot, that you are not qualified, and that's which way we're going to be moving forward, because that was the result of the vote. So at this point,
Before you close, I made a decision. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mazursky, Mr. Accomando. I respectfully decline my nomination for secretary.
That's it.
Mr. Chair, in response, can I ask you?
Okay. Dr. Fonder, please close out the nomination process. We got to move forward.
I have another nomination.
I have a question for you, Dr. Lemay. Has everybody that's been nominated accepted nomination? Do we know that?
No.
Generally, that should be asked.
So let's go through the list and find out.
That was a problem we had last year.
Okay, it's
We didn't
been-
know what to accept tonight, in case someone drops out and we have someone just run.
Okay, all of the candidates have been seconded, and I'm going to go through each one of them and ask each candidate who is here. I think one person is not here. Is Ms. Baez here? And Mr. Morano. Okay, I'll give him a call. Martin Prince, do you accept?
Yes, I accept the nomination.
Peter Sullivan, do you accept?
I emailed you that answer, of course I did.
Bob Peter, do you accept?
Yes, I do.
For first vice chairperson, John Morano, Thomas Accomando, do you accept? Yes. Second vice chairperson, Irene, do you accept? For secretary, Peter Cantello, do you accept?
Yes.
For treasurer, Marjorie Velasquez, is she here? And Raquel Baez. Okay? And, I'm sorry, Bob Beat is written in. Do you accept? Yes.
Can I make a comment first? Only nomination? I'd like to nominate Joe Boyko for second vice chair.
Do I get a second?
I'll second that.
I thought that vote was closed,
No,
no?
nothing is closed.
You asked each position.
No,
then
sir.
go backwards.
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. Nominations remain open. You know.
Nominations close at the end of this meeting, as soon as you declare them closed.
That's correct. Do I have a second for Joe Boyko?
Go ahead.
Okay. Joe accepts.
They're asking to make sure every candidate is accepted.
Is that it? Are there any other nominations? And Bob is correct. Nominations are not officially closed until the end of this meeting.
Your committee.
Your report.
As soon as your committee, your nomination is.
Tom, I'd like to make this, but I would like to contest the fact that my nomination is being rejected at this time, Tom.
Need a nomination to close the nomination.
I move the nominations are closed.
Oh, thank you.
I have to move. Ho. I make a motion that the nominations are
Can I ask
closed.
one question before you close?
Yes.
I just want to stop any craziness, any confusion. You just said you're contesting it. How far are you going with
Well,
it?
I received the nomination and a second,
I
and
didn't-
it's
I
not
didn't
being
quite-
accepted, so I want to see why it's not being accepted.
So where are you going with this?
I don't know, I'll talk to people about it afterwards. I'm surprised it's being rejected because I'm clearly eligible under the nominations and elections procedures.
The executive board is not of.
That's out of order, Peter.
No, I just want to know if he's going to make the legal action about this, then I say we just let him run until we get through this legal part.
Can't do that.
All right?
Where does it say standing committee is required to run for anything? It doesn't say that
Okay,
anywhere.
thanks.
All right.
In closing out this issue, and I'm gonna put this succinctly, and I'm not trying to embarrass or anything, but Robert, you were on the committee when we were putting this together. And I said to everyone, be careful what you approve. See how it affects you. And you didn't do that. You allowed the vote to go through.
I was told by,
You allowed the
Yes.
vote to go through. It's
Yes.
not a point.
I was told by Mr. Beater that that I was eligible. I have a recording that says so.
Robert,
A recording that says that I
Robert.
would be eligible, yes, thank you.
Robert,
Thank you.
Robert, you know that, again, this is what you voted on as well. So, we will now need a motion to close the nomination process.
I make the motion to close.
Second, Diane Lyle.
All those in agreement?
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, it's unanimous. Nominations for 2017 elections are closed.
Thank you.
The next up is housing and zoning report.
You want to handle it or you want to? We'll split it. I'll get the mic for you, Paul.
That was great. That was good. He's like, I'll take the first one.
Okay, this was the Housing and Zoning Committee, May 9th. The meeting opened at 7:30. This is all in your packets. The first item was a BSA application, 21-10 BZ, It's for the Burger King at 2801 Roebling Avenue, and it's a permit for their drive-through window. There was a discussion and a motion, and it was seconded and unanimously approved. So, okay, so do we need another another motion? Okay, so I make a motion to approve the application for the drive-through window permit.
Motion to accept.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Okay, so that passed. Okay, the second one, the committee led a discussion, another BSA application, 64-04BZ for Planet Fitness at 2241 Westchester Avenue. This is to extend their certificate of occupancy from the DOB. Again, we had a motion to approve and a second, and it was unanimously approved by that committee.
I'd like to make a motion to approve that application.
Doesn't he have to read the motion?
Well, I'm reading it from here.
No, did you have to read the actual resolution?
Yeah.
I mean,
Should I read? Okay. So at the resolve at the request of the Bronx Community Board 10, the BSA application 6404BZ for 2241 Westchester Avenue, 10462, Planet Fitness request for a time extension to obtain a certificate of occupancy from New York City Department of Buildings be forwarded to the full board for approval.
I'd like to make a motion to approve that. I'd also like to thank the committee and the full board for all their work they did. Planet Fitness has been very cooperative and in great part to the work they did this board. Thank you.
I second it.
Question on the resolution?
Excuse me?
Question on the resolution?
Oh, okay, no question.
Are we giving them any specific amount of time or no
This is,
time?
just to clarify it, this is an extension of time. They ran out of time. They need an extension of time to get this CFO.
Oh,
So that's all it is, and it's only, they said 6 more months. But, you know, building departments, red tape and everything, that's all they were asking for. It's not on the CO, it's just to get the CFO, okay? Because anytime you have a physical establishment, you have to put it on your CFO, and there's more paperwork and things like that. We have another one coming up, a kickboxing place, so all these.
And I know DOB is at least 4 to 6 months behind on their work.
Right, and they're gonna get that much further behind when Matt leaves, so.
Okay, so we had a motion.
He wants to smile back there.
We had a motion to approve.
Favor?
Second?
By me.
Second by Peter.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Any objections? Okay, so that passed. Okay, now the third one.
Thank you. So, resolved at the request of Bronx Community Board 10 that the DSA application 5106-2017 ASWC made in Puerto Rico. This is 3363 East Tremont Avenue, 10461, for an unenclosed sidewalk cafe consisting of 15 tables, 30 chairs, as well as proof of no objection from the surrounding residents and businesses to be forwarded to the board. So that is the resolution. On the discussion,
You gotta have a motion to accept it.
I don't need it on the discussion. Once I get a motion, then
I thought you needed a motion and a
on the
second.
question,
We could have a
on the
discussion.
question. I'm still giving my report.
I just thought you needed a.
No, I'm just giving details what happened at the meeting. Remember, Parks, when you gave your details?
Go ahead.
All right, so they did come to us with 23 tables, 46 chairs. They did reduce it drastically to 15 tables, 30 chairs. But as far as right now, I checked with the staff, we still have not gotten a petition of residents' signatures. So that was part of the thing that we wanted their approval. They came out tonight, you heard them. So, you know, that's what's in front of us. Now, what's not here on this resolution, it should be, the operating hours would be Sunday to Thursday, closing at 12 o'clock at midnight. And Fridays and Saturdays at 1 o'clock. And that's what the law permits, okay? We asked them to reduce it, and they were sticking to what they're legally allowed to have, which is their right, but I have to let everyone know. So I just wanted to make everyone aware before they vote on the time. Go ahead, Irene.
That stipulation of time would be on their liquor license, correct?
No.
Where would it be?
That is on what they're allowed to do by the Department of Consumer Affairs. And if they had agreed, then we would have put it as a stipulation. So right now, there's no stipulations.
It's just a sidewalk cafe.
Right.
Not the rest of the bar can stay open.
Correct. This is the outside part.
But if they actually sold, and they're operating under the previous owner's liquor license, but theirs hasn't come in, do we have proof that theirs has come in?
The liquor license is coming up next month, I believe? Yes.
The present liquor license expires tomorrow.
Okay, let's stop. Liquor license is not in front of us, Sidewalk Cafe is. Let's let that chair worry about that headache, yeah? Go ahead.
On a point of order, are we moving on to discussion?
We are. I'm starting this.
Are we moving on to the question yet?
After it's been motioned.
I was waiting for the motion.
What?
Wait for the motion. Okay, we've had 4 311 complaints in the past 12 months.
Right.
We've had at least 5 people tonight
Right.
who live right there complaining about the noise at the present time,
Right.
let alone letting them have anything outside. And a lot of other complaints that I won't go into that are embarrassing.
Okay.
It's not a good thing. You also have to realize that the present ownership was the same people that own Pompeii. So there's no wonder that the same kind of nonsense is going on there that happened at Pompeii.
Right. But now we're talking about new ownership now, just to be clear.
Okay.
Even though he is manager?
Part of the old
Can I
ownership.
say that the previous owners have nothing to do with that Pompeii? Jacqueline and
How many times has Made in Puerto Rico changed their hands?
no, Jacqueline is the current previous owner.
One of them.
She did not have anything to do with Pompeii.
All right.
But no association whatsoever.
Right. So let's move on. Do we have a motion to accept
Motion to accept
the resolution?
We gotta vote on it, so we gotta accept it second before we can vote it down. If we do not
sure,
go
it's out of the
second,
big
you
ten.
don't
I'll
vote
second,
down,
I'll second.
that means you have no say at DCA.
Right.
You have a motion on
I
that.
agree.
Right.
A second.
You have a
I
motion on
second.
the second.
All right, we have it.
Yep.
Okay? All in favor?
Kept telling you that.
Okay. All opposed? All right.
Okay, wait, keep your hands up.
Well, no, it's just easier to take Alvin as the one that accepted, everyone else opposed. All right. Yeah, any abstentions? 2 abstentions. You did a quick yes and then you changed, a quick no. You went halfway up on me. All right. Marjorie, did you vote?
So what do you vote?
This is Made in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and it mentions here the background about
Right.
people in the public's
But once you're in presence, you have to vote.
abstaining.
Okay, so we have 3 absent. Okay, so at this point, that discussion ended, and we went in because we are having problems with so many sidewalk cafes, and the committee did agree, along with the chairperson from Economic Development, that we will start developing stipulations for unenclosed and enclosed sidewalk cafes because of all the noise complaints and everything else. All right, but this is gonna be something we'll work on, hopefully, and get it done for September. We're not looking to rush through it, okay? All right, any other questions?
I just have a comment, just that I just feel that, one, the people have spoken, and if you're really transferring names and new ownership, et cetera, let's just take a step back, prove yourself this year quietly with respect to the neighbors and whatever, and maybe next year or whatever, come back in front of us when everything is up and running, and see what happens. Yeah, well, exactly, when the neighbors, you respect the neighbors.
Well, actually, we hope that you will stay in touch with our office throughout the year and do what you need to do so when it comes time to reconsider. So, as I said, all we can do is try and foster relationships. You heard what has been the problems, and we will hope that you're going to address them. So, we're always here, and we're always open, and we're going to work between you and your neighborhoods as much as we can. So, thank you. And just one note, the bylaws have now been signed and they are in effect. So you will be receiving a copy of them now that our present secretary and possibly future secretary has signed them. Oh, so unopposed. At any rate, you will be receiving your copy. Next up is, oh, that's right, Alvin quit on it, all right. Next up is economic development. Tom?
Thank you, Martin. Meeting was held May 2nd. Minutes are self-explanatory. I'm going to go on to the resolutions. Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of Bronx Community Board 10 that the following establishments have agreed to comply with the best management practices standards contained within the stipulations by signing them, and furthermore agree to ATAP's training and their compliance be sent to the State Liquor Authority along with the resolution and a vote, and copies placed in the board's file. Louis and Ernie's Pizza, 1300 Crosby Avenue, 10461 between Baisley and Waterbury Avenue, license 1004498, which expires on 5/31/17. McDermott's in the Neck, 3809 East Tremont Avenue between Randall and Schley Avenues. License number is 1284850, which expires on 5/31/17. Fellas, 522 City Island Avenue, 10464 between Cross and Beach Streets, Bridge Streets, license 1004040, which expires on 5/31/17. Portofino's Restaurant, 555 City Island Avenue, 10464 between Cross and Bridge Street, license 1140821, which expires on 6/30/17. Casa's Restaurant, 3607 East Tremont Avenue, 10465 between Sullivan and Scott's Place, license 1285582, which expires on 5/31/17. Bristow's SK, 273 City Island Avenue, 104 between Hoskins and Carroll Street, license 1250501, which expires on 5/31/17. Gotta get a different committee. Italia Cafe, 3009 Middletown Road, 10461 between Crosby and Hobart Avenue, license 1285889, which expires on 5/31/17. Bridges, 4100 East Tremont Avenue, 10465 between Miles and Lorne Avenue, license 1188949, which expires on 7/31/17. Turner Club, 748 Clarence Avenue, 10465 between Phillip and Randall, license 1003335, which expires on 6/30/17. Chavistas, 3830 3234 East Tremont Avenue, 10465 between Schley Place, Schley Avenue, Lamport Place, license
5579, which expires on 5/31/17. Escape International, 1841 Hobart Avenue, 10461, between Westchester and St. Teresa's Avenue. License is 1284323, which expires on 5/31/17. Crosby Caribbean Restaurant, 1762 Crosby Avenue, 10461, between Burke and Roberts Avenue. License 124173, which expires on 6/30/17. Crab Shanty, 361 City Island Avenue, 10464, between Demas and Thai Street, license 1004053, which expires on 6/30/17. George's Restaurant, 3000 Burke Avenue, 10461, between Crosby and Hobart Avenue, license 1189439, which expires on 7/31/17. There was a motion approved and mentioned establishments. It was second and unanimously approved by all. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second
Question,
on the question?
Cousins, we've had issues with them in the past, have we heard anything lately?
They came before us. There was no 911 complaints in the file. There was no 311 file complaints. So it was discussed. It was brought up. I think Bob brought that up. But like I said, it was approved unanimously by the committee. So I got a motion. Did I get a second?
On the question.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, here we go. In the past, this has happened. We get this broad resolution saying they signed the stipulations. But we don't know what the stipulations are. We're voting for stipulations that are not being... So at this time, I'm requesting, is there any special stipulations on any of these that are being voted on? Change of hours or anything like that? And I'm requesting that if there is any changes to stipulations out of the normal, that we get notified in the minutes beforehand so we know what we're voting on.
I agree with you, Pete. I think we had a discussion on this, and there is a lot of things and stipulations, but the bars can not sign something, and I think going forward, we should bring that to your attention. If a bar particularly doesn't want to sign something, we'll make a note of that, and then we'll...
So none of these have any special things, that's all I'm asking.
Now, as far as I know, he signed everything. But going forward, I think if somebody doesn't sign something or opt out of a stipulation...
What is this stipulation on time? We should know.
On time, I think we we never did that before, but I think we could tighten up on that.
Right. Well, if the resolution says one thing and the letter going to the state liquor authority says something else, then that's a problem.
I agree.
And that's happened in the past. Yeah. You know, so it's causing us headaches.
All right, well, we'll just have to, I'll sit down with Patrick and try to
Well, like you
straighten
said,
that
we're
out.
gonna work together.
Yeah, we're going to work together on that, and listen, there's a lot of things that I guess we could tweak coming forward. Can I get a vote?
Tommy, point of information.
Yes.
The resolution we're voting on now is number 7, we're skipping number 6.
You gotta go back, Don Cokie.
He's looking at his report.
I'm looking at my report because my report says what we voted on.
They're going off the resolution.
He's going off his list.
So that'll be separate.
Right, that was separate, because what I'm doing here is I want to tell you what my committee did. If I go off the resolutions, you're not going to know how we voted.
No, some go by this one.
Okay. So I got to get a motion to approve? I think I got it first.
Second.
You got it the first and the second.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
One abstention.
Two.
Marjorie and Colonel. Marjorie and Colonel.
Okay, we're going to move on to Tosca's. Resolved that the recommendation of the Economic Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, that the following establishments agree to comply with the best management practices contained in stipulations by signing them, and to further agree to ATAP's training. And there was a compliance sent to the State Liquor Authority, along with the resolutions and a vote compliance, and copies placed in the board's file. Tosca's Cafe 4038-40 42 East Tremont Avenue, 10465, between Miles and Sampson. It's a new license because they're dropping a name off the original license. When they came before us, we passed it, and now they're taking the name. I didn't get a motion at the committee, so it didn't pass in committee, because I couldn't get a motion. But Tosca did clean up their act. They did the garbage. I know that a lot of people said Tosca did a lot of things for 10 years, and they were getting away with this for 10 years. I wasn't the chair 10 years ago. I'm only looking at what I'm going forward, okay? And going forward, when a couple of things were brought to the committee on that particular thing, was back in April, there was issues with garbage. There was issues with the cars double parking. There was issues with noise. Since then, I drove by there several times. I haven't seen any cars parked on the sidewalk. The garbage situations were taken care of. So when that hit my committee, it was immediately addressed, and it's been taken care of. Even Jane, who's adamantly against it, can see a big improvement. So, just saying that.
Resolution?
Yes.
Motion to accept.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Oh, hold on.
Colonel Chin, did you abstain?
You abstain, or?
He wasn't here.
You
He
just want to raise
abstained.
your hand.
Okay.
Colonel Chin abstained.
You filled up out.
Colonel Chin just came in the middle. Instruction on
Don't know what's going on, you think?
We went on to, we had to hold an election for chair, committee, and co-chair. I was nominated for chair. I didn't nominate a co-chair yet. I want to talk to a couple of people, but it was second, and I was unanimously voted in. Thank you. Nita thanks you. Old business, we had Don Coquette, the representative signed. Now, Don Coquette, we had back in April, there was a PowerPoint done by the City Island, and John was in charge of the PowerPoint. They brought all their problems to the PowerPoint. We all addressed it in committee. Don Coquette was very, very attentive in being very cooperative and passing an additional addendum to stipulations. So they went above board for extra stipulations that they signed, and I'll read them to you. The patio will cease music at 12 midnight, both weekends and weekdays, weekdays and weekends. 2, there will be sound bafflings will be erected around and outside the patio area to absorb ambient noise. Number 3, there was a governor system will be added to the sound music system to dampen noise and prevent music from rising past decibel levels acceptable to both Don Coquette and City Island Association. They'll both agree on the sound levels. The ownership of management agrees to meet regularly with City Island Association to foster an open dialogue between both parties. The parking lot should not be used for tailgating parties, patrons, and congregating and involve loud music and drinking. This really goes way and above our stipulations. Our members also felt that it was a great thing that they were willing to step up and go ahead. It passed in committee 7 yeses and 1 no. So I think that I'd like to get a resolution to pass this. I think they've done, question?
No,
Oh, a second? Okay. Can I get a motion to accept? Can I get a second? I have a second. All in favor?
Wait, on the
Oh.
question, nice try.
Tom,
Yeah, hold on.
my understanding from the last time we talked about this, that there was a parking issue, that the certificate of occupancy did not have sufficient parking to meet the requirements of the square footage of the restaurant?
Their license, their certificate of occupancy says they have 80 parking spaces. That's what it says. If they want to, if that has to be,
It says they're required.
they have, no, required
They gotta
that.
have that.
There, I looked at the C of O, Peter, it says 80 parking.
I said they're required. I went there and they don't have 80 parking spots. I counted them myself.
They also rent,
I took my shoes off.
okay, they also rent across the street.
They don't rent across the street, which is also a residential lot,
Hold
which
on.
you're not allowed to do commercial parking on. But since we have this, I make a motion to table this, since Don Coquette was given TCO by mistake, and now it's being recalled. So how can we move on something that doesn't have the proper documentation?
I asked Patrick to check that, he didn't say that it was being
I just
recalled.
I just double checked it again.
And their C of O is being recalled?
The TCO was given by mistake, they gotta come back and they gotta rectify everything.
Can I say something? The TCO was given, it's not being called, our architect straightened the problem out. We have a stop work order that has nothing to do with us, but it has to do with Johnny Bees, who's the owner of the marina. The architect spoke with the borough president and the commissioner, and they agreed that it needs to be legalized as a temporary structure. So that's what's going on now. We're at that process now where they're turning that trailer into a removable fixture because it's on wheels and making it a temporary fixture. And if he needs to use a restroom, we're giving him access to our bathroom. That's it. That was done. Parking, we have parking for 200. We rent Heinz Joseph's, and we actually pay Heinz Joseph for parking. We pay $5 a car. So if you had 300 cars, I could take most of the cars that come on that island and bring it right to Heinz Joseph's lot. So we have no issue with parking. And whatever we discuss on the stipulation, I'm perfectly fine doing. I'm from the neighborhood, I'm from the area, I have investments in the area. It's not, you know, I'm not there a fly-by-night guy. I'm from the island, you know, and I'm willing to do what has to be done. I don't want to be known as the troublemaker or the noise guy or whatever, because this, it's not who I am.
Well, when City Island did come before us, all their main concern was, and I didn't hear it was about parking, it was the patio outside noise, it was the parties and the tailgating parties, the noise was, the music was too loud, and in our committee, I mean, we heard everything, and we just, you know.
Again, Tom, call to order. I made a motion. Not debatable, it's gotta go to a second, then for a vote, before we can go on any further.
I'll second the motion.
All right, so now we gotta go for a vote to table this.
No,
Yeah, you're right.
It's non-negotiable.
You don't have to-
All right, there's a motion on the floor to table this. We have to take a vote on it.
Can I ask a point of information before we go for a
No,
vote?
not on, it's
Point
non-debatable,
of
not
information.
a
Okay,
non-debatable.
thank you.
So I have to go vote.
Oh, he'd already did, so you
Okay.
have to call for the vote.
All right, I'm calling for a vote. All those in favor of tabling this
Right.
until next month? Raise your hand. All those opposed?
So it's 20 seconds, let me just get this. Martin, Lou, Kevin, and who's the last one?
Me.
And John. Abstentions?
Any abstentions? One.
Who's the one?
Go on.
Okay,
Okay, it's tabled to next month.
If I may, I have a question of Peter. Last time I was on City Island and passed by Don Cohete, they had a big sign at the parking lot, $10 to park. Do they have a permit to operate as a parking facility
That I
to
don't
charge?
know. I don't know.
Because if not, that's another illegal action.
I'm not sure of that. I don't have anything against
Tables
this.
committee, this discussion has to move to the committee.
Right.
There's no further discussion tonight.
Right.
It's been tabled.
Thank you.
No further discussion. Let's move on.
We're waiting on them, Bob. I'm not saying, I say we're waiting on them.
Anything else? No.
Don't take this one, please.
Okay, next up is Youth and Education Services.
Good evening, everyone. I think I'm loud enough and the crowd's gotten small enough that I don't really need a mic. Just let me get to the right page. We got a few things to discuss, I'm sorry. We got a few things to discuss, including a full motion, so. We did have a discussion on the Best and Brightest Award. Unfortunately, we did not have a quorum at my meeting, but in your packet is a copy of an achievement certificate. The folks at River Bay Fund, last year, River Bay decided they wanted to honor students with averages of 90 degrees or 90, yeah, average of 90 or better. It's so hot today, it was over 90 degrees. Anyway, so they came to us and asked if we would like to participate in their achievement award. And Patrick was very kind enough to make up several samples of what those awards would look like. And the committee decided that this would be the award we'd like to present. Thank you. You have nicer copies. So I need a motion from the floor to say that Community Board 10 would like to participate with River Bay Fund and do these awards.
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you very much for that unanimous vote of support. Okay, next. We also had a discussion from the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene came to us. They are doing a health fair for adolescents in the community, and it's actually the 19th tomorrow at Owen Dolan Center. We referred them over to Lisa Soren. They were looking for additional space and ways to kind of get in there with the right number of tables. So we referred them to the Westchester Square Bid, who does a ton of events there. And they went through our event, and if anybody has any teens or children that they want to bring over there, it's open to the public. Okay, next off, and to me, really the most important thing that we started, the state of New York has allocated $60 million towards community schools. I understand that $5 million of that $60 million is going to be coming to the Bronx. And through working with Assemblyman Benedetto and Senator Jamal Bailey, I've been informed that an RFP will be coming out through the Office of Children and Family Services. Now, I'm also reading that the mayor's office is planning on doing a ton of community schools. So we don't know if those are separate funds or a separate pot, but we're going to be looking into that. The mayor's meeting is actually going to be held in the Borough President's office. Tom, thank the office for arranging that. Michelle Davila on my committee, although she was not available for the meeting, she works in Borough Hall, so she's going to meet with the people in the mayor's staff, try and figure out if that's going to be separate funding or someplace else we can dig into. In the meantime, the folks from River Bay Fund attended the meeting, several people were there. They have their own grant writer. The goal is to bring together as many organizations that we can and let them write a beautiful proposal under one umbrella. This is what we're looking for at Truman, I think, would be the ideal location. Now, generally, I think they're done in grammar schools, but Truman is just an amazing facility that I think we really want to take advantage of. Between the planetarium, the swimming pool, and the facilities there. So this is not just for youth, this is senior programming, they do health programming. We are getting together with the different organizations, we're going to continue to do this until that RFP comes out to try and get an idea of what exactly we as a community want to see in a community school. So hopefully we'll be able to get some of that $5 million funding into Community Board 10. That's the big goal. Now, as I said, River Bay Fund has been great. They've got great people doing this, but we don't necessarily have to stick to just the co-op area. So anybody who knows the organizations that might want to write a proposal for this in any of our schools, you know, we're building a new facility. It might be a great time to make that facility open